Night Live is the most successful sketch comedy show ever, but as the name says, it's live TV and there's no room for mistakes or bad behavior. But some actors or musicians pushed the limits with what was allowed and ended up getting banned because of it. I'm Mackenzie, and because you guys like part 1 so much, here's part 2 of the top 10 celebrities banned from Saturday Night Live. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to see more. And at number 10, Rage Against the Machine. The band Rage Against the Machine was banned from SNL after they performed in 1996, which, fun fact, is the year that I was born. And probably a big part of why was because they decided to pair the band with billionaire and former presidential candidate Steve Forbes. And having an extremely wealthy businessman perform with an anti-capitalist band probably isn't a recipe for success. And the band decided to rebel against Forbes and make their anti-capitalist stance known by hanging American flags upside down on the stage. But after a spectacle like that, they were promptly kicked off the show. Right after they finished the set, producers told the band to leave the premises, no second song. And at number 9, Steven Seagal. Actor Steven Seagal was banned off SNL in 1991. He didn't do anything bad on live TV, which is good, but he just had an all-around bad vibe that the cast did not want to have to deal with ever again. Sources with the show said that his ideas were not only not funny, but he didn't get what made other sketches work. And instead of getting help with his sketches and leaning on the pros, he decided to get nasty instead. Former cast member Tim Meadows explained, quote, "He just wasn't funny and was very critical of the cast and the writing staff. He didn't realize that you can't tell someone they're stupid on Wednesday and expect them to continue writing for you on Saturday." And obviously getting on the bad side of the people that are supposed to help you be funny and look good on TV is a terrible idea, and hopefully he learned his lesson. And at number 8, Robert Blake. Robert Blake was banned off SNL in 1982, apparently because the star was a menace on set and started drama with tons of the cast members. At one point, he even allegedly assaulted a writer. Former writer Dave Sheffield remembers the incident, and when talking about the worst host, he said, quote, "My vote for worst host is Robert Blake. He was sitting in a room and a sketch was handed to him by Gary Kroeger, who was a writer and actor. It was a sketch called Breezy Philosopher, a one-premise sketch about a lofty teacher who's kind of a biker tough guy talking about Kierkegaard. Students kept asking questions while he combed his hair, and he'd say, quote, 'Hey, I don't know.' Blake sat there and read that with his glasses down his nose, then crumpled it up, turned to Kroeger and said, 'I hope you got a tough a-hole, pal, because you're gonna have to wipe your ass with that one,' and then threw it off Gary's face." So a very interesting story that basically just proves that he was not very good to work with. And at number 7, Fear. The band Fear was banned in 1981. The only reason the band was even given the honor to perform on SNL was because former cast member John Belushi lobbied for the band to be on the show. And although Lorne Michaels was reluctant, the band was able to get a spot. One big reason was because Belushi promised to appear in a small role in the episode as an extra incentive. But after their performance, the extra incentives were definitely not worth it. The band decided to bring along a bunch of slam dancers that caused so much damage to the set, was estimated to cost around $200,000 to fix it all. And I doubt John Belushi had much say at SNL after that incident. And at number 6, Milton Berle. Milton Berle was banned off the show in 1979, and the reason for this was because he was incredibly entitled and acted better than the show itself, which is never a good vibe for a collaborative environment. Apparently, when he pitched a sketch, he told the cast, quote, "Now this might go over your heads," and things, didn't get any better on air. He tried to take all the camera time he could, shamelessly plugged his own products, and made his groupies lead a standing ovation. One of the show's writers, Rosie Schuster, described the rehearsal for the Berle SNL show and the telecast as, quote, "watching a comedy train accident in slow motion on a loop." Yikes! Halfway number 5, Charles Grodin. Charles Grodin was banned for a very strange reason, and that was apparently because he wasn't cool and didn't mesh well with the cast. And he also didn't seem to care much about the show in general. He apparently skipped rehearsals, which are crucial for a live show, and also improvised lines, which is another huge no-no for live TV. But along with this, his lame attitude rubbed the cast the wrong way. John Belushi once said of Grodin, quote, "He doesn't smoke dope. He's not one of us." And I definitely don't agree that someone not smoking should make you dislike them, but I would assume it's probably a mix of everything that got him banned. And at number 4, Louise Lasser. Louise Lasser was actually the first person who was ever banned off SNL. Lasser was the ex-wife of Woody Allen, who appeared in Bananas and other early features in Allen's filmography. And she was pegged to host a 1976 episode. But less than an hour before the episode went on, Lasser decided to lock herself in a dressing room. And this is live TV, people. You cannot have that before a show. And since she didn't seem like she was going to come out, the cast decided to last minute divide her parts of the show up to themselves. Eventually, she did come out and ended up doing one sketch, but was never let back because they could not risk that ever happening again. In at number 3, Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase was a huge success on SNL and leveraged his success on the show to branch out to other things, but he ended up being the only SNL member banned from the show. Apparently, Chase was a handful from the start and insulted plenty of guests that came on the show, like Robert Downey Jr. and Terry Sweeney. But the last straw came in 1997 after it was revealed that he had been harassing women of the show, like one woman who he allegedly hit on the back of the head. But it seems like the ban only applied to hosting, as he did participate in some sketches down the line. And at number 2, Jenny Slate. Jenny Slate had a very unfortunate mishap that caused her time on SNL to be cut short. On September 26th of 2009, she made her SNL debut in a Biker Babes sketch alongside Kristen Wiig and actress Megan Fox. And in the sketch, the women repeatedly use the word frickin' because they can't say the actual F word, on network TV. But in one instance, Slate accidentally said the real F word instead, which was heard live across the country. It was dubbed over for the recorded viewings, but at that point the damage was done. Slate was pulled back in subsequent episode and fired from the show at the end of the season as a result. And finally at number 1, Shane Gillis. Comedian Shane Gillis is the most recent person to get the boot from SNL, and he was actually cut from the show before he was even able to appear on an episode. After it was announced that Shane, along with 2 other new cast members, were going to be on the upcoming season of SNL, past tweets were revealed that showed Gillis using racist and homophobic slurs. A spokesperson gave a statement on the show's decision to pull Gillis. Quote, after talking with Shane Gillis, we have decided that he will not be joining SNL. We want SNL to have a variety of voices and points of view within the show. The language he used is offensive, hurtful, and unacceptable. We are sorry that we did not see the clips earlier and that our vetting process was not up to our standard. So that's all for the list, guys. Let me know your thoughts below. Was there anyone that I missed? And who do you think deserved to be banned the most? Now I'm going to shout out some comments from part 1 of this series. Robert Maxwell said, I would take being banned from SNL as a badge of honor. I guess in some ways, some of this stuff is pretty funny and outlandish, so in that way, but other stuff it's like, yikes, how could you do that on live TV? Then PDL said, every story you hear about Michaels, he sounds like a tyrant. Dr. Evil from Austin Powers is an imitation of him for a reason. I didn't know that Dr. Evil was an imitation of him. Listen, I think on live TV, the pressure that comes along with that is so scary. I could never, ever do live TV. I don't care how much someone offered me. No. Then Blackman JRPG said, what about Steven Seagal? He sucked. Hi, Mackenzie. Thank you so much for that comment. I included him because of you. I absolutely love when you guys do that. It really, really helps me out for like series like this. So if there's anyone that I ever miss on a list, please put it in the comments. All right, guys, that is all for the video today. Thanks so much for sticking around. If you made it all the way here, if you like the channel and you want to see some more, make sure to like and subscribe to it below. I've been your host, Mackenzie Smith, and I will catch you all in the next one.